Hello, and welcome back to the PatricksGreenTea podcast. I don't think I mentioned this during the episode, but the name of the musical I saw where I met Jeff Chimenti was Red Roses, Green Gold. It was a fun time even if the second showing wasn't as lively. The performers had the same energy each night. I've definitely been having thoughts about what this podcast is turning into versus what I originally wanted to do with it. I think that things like live streams and special episodes will become more practical once I'm living somewhere on my own. I'm sure that if we don't get to that point in 2021, we will very soon after. In the meantime, like I said, there will be plenty of guests, additional content on the website, which is still PatricksGreenTea.com, and the old reliable solo episodes that have gotten us to this point. As always, feedback and ideas are welcome. That's it, and I hope you enjoy the episode.
I forgot how I was going to intro, but yeah, I don't know. It was going to be one of those quirky type things, or I just I know what I was going to be. I know like half of what it was going to be. Never describe any music as elevator music, even if it's in a positive context. Because the second you say elevator music, everyone's mind goes to a certain place, and you don't want that to happen to a song that's actually good. I had the misfortune of comparing something to elevator music, and I realized oh crap, that was a mistake because it's so similar to elevator music, but it's literally just jazzy elevator music. And I know I'm breaking my rule right here, but this is just so you understand what I mean. It's an example, so future generations won't make the same mistake. Anyway, it's called Open Freeway by Jim Lawless, and it's quite good. I saw it multiple times on the Anthony Bourdain, the second series he did. I think it was called Parts Unknown, and it was the last episode of that. He was in the Lower East Side of New York, which is where I actually lived, so it was weird to see his history like that, because to me it's just so gentrified now that it's just a bunch of restaurants and really expensive apartments, and that's pretty much it. I mean, there's some cool stuff. There's in the Lower West Side, which is, or maybe it's the West Side of the Lower East Side. I don't know. I think it is the Lower West. You go, and then there's a bunch of jazz clubs and all this stuff. Really nice places, like the Comedy Cellar, the whatever that theater is, the Minerva Theater, or Minetta Lane, I think it's called. I met Jeff, what's his name? I'm too gone to really remember things right now, but Jeff, the frickin' man, I just took 2 hits of the sativa pen, and it was just brought me to another plane. I'm also right in the middle of the high. I'm 20 minutes in, so more or less. Fucking what's the name? Jeff Chimenti. Damn. But yeah, I met back to that. I met him outside the Minetta Lane Theater at this bluegrass musical based on the Grateful Dead, Jerry Garcia in particular, his music. So all of the original stuff that they did, the very westerny. They did every one of their western sounding songs and just made it more bluegrass with an acoustic bass and stuff. And the whole cast of the play played an instrument. They played a drum set, a modern drum set, and then acoustic bass and things like that. There's an electric guitar in there, but it was really cool. I saw it twice for free because they had some deal with my school where you could just get free tickets to stuff in your email. So I was like, hell yeah, I want to see this. I've been seeing the posters and stuff, and I saw it the second day of its opening. The crowd was just packed. The second time it was sad because the second time I saw it, the crowd was so light. It was not great. The first time I saw it, there was just so much energy from the crowd, and everyone was dancing and singing along, and that's the best. And then I ended up meeting, like I said, Jeff Chimenti outside. He was just smoking on it in the alley, and my ex, who actually got me into the Grateful Dead, she saw him, and then, or maybe it was me who saw him. I don't know. Either way, we saw old Jeff. We got a picture, and it was pretty dope. I don't even know what the picture is, but I think it's okay. Cause I don't think I got a solo pic with Jeff because he's just a dude, and we didn't want to waste his time, so we just did everyone in one pic, and then easy in and out. We talked a little bit. I forgot what I said. I think I said something like congratulating him on like his talent, but like in the most normal, not weird sounding way possible. At least that's what I was hoping for. I think it was good. Celebrity interactions are so weird. But actually, Jeff Chimenti was the composer, or the arranger. So he's the one who made it into that style for the play, or musical, I should say. The plot was like pretty fun too. It was very like it had some twists and turns, and it had like surprises, but it was just really goofy and like self-aware, which was fun. So that was cool. I don't know how I got on this topic, but anyway, yeah, man. So a lot has happened in the past month that it's been since I recorded this podcast. Okay, lots happened now that I really think about it, being that long ago. I officially ended my classes. That's a real thing. And now I'm like into the fun zone of just like right after you graduate and the world is your oyster. Feels good. I feel way more relieved of time and stuff. Now I can actually do things that I want to be doing instead of the one thing working on 24/7, basically getting a movie out. You know what? I'm gonna keep true to what I said about hiring an editor, because I really don't want all the pressure to be on me and all the time to be on me. I want to diversify the time and give it to someone who I'm paying to work on. You know, it'll be expensive, but I think just for my sanity and my life, because that's what they do normally. It's not usually a one-man operation. Especially if the really successful ones, they have multiple people working on it, just because that's the best way to make a movie. Well, it seems to be. There's not many like independent filmmakers, I don't think, who just produce everything by themselves. Like there's at least some like borrowing of equipment or like helping out with lights or whatever else. But either way, that's where I am. I was thinking about like what this podcast was. I think it's I do talk a lot about my life. So I guess it is like a journaling my general experience with weed. And you know what? I'm happy with what it is right now. People are listening to it, and seems to be exactly what other podcasts are, except solo podcasts, I would say, except for like narrative stuff. But see, I have guests. Guests are fun. I definitely want to have more guests. You know, it would be a great idea. Maybe we should, next week I should record a podcast with Dan and maybe someone else if they're available and willing. But that'd be awesome. Because we've been talking about doing a podcast episode. I mean, maybe I shouldn't rush it. Maybe there'll be better circumstances with different people on board. Like David. I'd love to talk to David. And yeah, I just want to make it as good as possible. But it'll get there eventually. But definitely by this time next month, it'll be recorded at least. And I'm almost caught up. Like, I have 2 more episodes and then I'm caught up in terms of the release schedule. I really didn't record much this winter. And I came at it with such the weekly schedule is really intense. Like, stuff gets out. And I definitely don't record it at a weekly thing. But now, you know what? So the one thing is it's cold. and I don't want to be walking outside much, but that's sort of where I have to do the podcasts. Although it's not really that cold. Like it's the first day of winter, pretty much. It's like the second day of winter, and it's probably gonna get a lot colder. But right now I feel fine. Like I have a hat on, and I think it's overkill, slight overkill. And anyway, I think I can keep to like a once every 2 weeks schedule, or I could just delay like the 4th season like I did with the other seasons. Just give myself time to record and breathe. But then it got really long, the last gap. So yeah, literally, this episode has been so tangential, but that's okay. Sorry for the foot crunches, by the way. There's nothing I can really do about it. And I'm not going to stand in one like dry spot the whole podcast. I've got to be moving. I've got to get my exercise in. I don't even know where I am. I shouldn't even be out here. Like on this part. Oh, wait, no. Never mind. I think it connects to where I was. Hopefully. So there was some stuff I was going to talk about. I was contemplating doing show notes where I just write down the topics that I want to cover. Like a non-committal show notes in case I get stuck or whatever. But I was too lazy. And I was like, no, I like the off-the-cuff thing. But you know what? I should at least try it out. So I think maybe that would increase the quality of these rants if they were more focused. And I could check things off as I did them. Anyway, we're here. Like I said, I definitely have stuff to talk about, and I just have to fish it out of my memory. Let's think of some weed-related stuff, because that's what I was trying to get at with the whole journal thing. Like, this podcast has been less weed-related and more just like how weed affects a whole person's life, like a time capsule type thing / long experiment. But it feels better for me just to like talk about whatever, which also happens to be about weed. And that's the thing also, like, I don't know if I mentioned this podcast, but there's not a lot of people in my life that I can just talk to freely about weed. So even though it's like a one-way conversation, it's a good way to sort things out and like have you guys help me process some stuff and then learn from that as you will. Weed stuff. What's a weed thing that happened recently? There's some laws that were passed. Actually, here's some really BS shenanigans. Weed was legalized in New Jersey via referendum. Like, the people directly voted on it. And the government just, like, voted to stop it so that they could, like, put all these regulations on it that the people didn't vote for. And it's really, like, it's such a small story. It's not really... People aren't really going crazy about it, but that's a huge thing, you know? I mean, like, you can never trust the government to do right, but it's just like, even when they gave the people the option to vote on it, they just took their whole choice away and just like, oh, okay, actually, this is how it's going to happen. We'll give you what you want, but we're going to do all this other stuff. Now, to be fair, I don't know the specifics of what they're making people do. But there's a lot of things that are changing, and just the principle's weird, you know? It'd be like having somebody appointed to... Actually, this is a bad example. I was going to say something that was literally not democratic, and that was just in the system. Appointing cabinet picks when you're president. But anyway, something better. I guess everyone who's elected doesn't really matter, except for the president. But that's wrong. That they do matter in times like emergency when, you know, Florida just doesn't have any mask mandate at all, and there's so much COVID going on in Miami and wherever else. But anyway, that's been me and weed. Surprisingly, I feel like there's not much to talk about, but my brain's just like sludge right now. I know there is. Not that I have to really fish hard for it. I don't want this whole episode to be that. I've been playing Minecraft a lot. And I never used to play creative. I don't think ever. Maybe just like test one redstone thing. I don't even think that. I always thought it was so boring that survival was the better somehow. Oh damn, I'm going over like a river. I just crossed a fucking body of water. That was annoying. Also, I keep pulling on my fucking cord here. So Minecraft, I've been playing it and then doing creative stuff, and I have a journal that I keep called Journal X, and it's basically anytime I'm high, I can open it and write in it, but I can't write in it or open it any other time. It's like only for my high, like, alter ego, I guess. My psychological alter ego. And so I did that. That's the best story ever. I was doing creative stuff in Minecraft instead of the journal, and then I called it World X. So I've been doing like some pretty wacky stuff. I have a recurring character called McKenna. I feel like I've said this on the podcast. No, I think I've written it down on the text episodes, which you can find on the website. I wrote them down on that, like in text form. But I think it's been so long that I started Minecraft after the last episode that was recorded. And it's been really fun. This McKenna character is like an alchemical wizard based on, like, you know, magic mixed with chemistry, I guess. But like magic derived from chemistry. I guess that's the definition of alchemy. There's probably a different definition, but that's how I understand it. And it's really cool. He channels like some of the blocks in Minecraft are really out there, like redstone blocks. Like if you built stuff with that, like on a big scale, like I've been doing, you can turn it into like some sort of magical mineral that has special properties like interdimensional teleportation, you know. That mixed with gold, stuff like that. And I tried doing the infinity snapshot that they released for snapshot, I should say, that they released for the April Fool's, I guess, release in 2020. And it was a good joke. It was a really elaborate joke, and it's a thing you can download. It's like infinite dimensions that you can change by throwing in a book that you write on into an existing nether portal. It's fun. I've also played Skyrim again. It's been a while, but I did. It hasn't been that long. I remember doing things like within the past few months. So it was cool. It was good to go back to Minecraft and like play something different as opposed to doing the same thing every night. But I think I'm remembering more about the McKenna alchemy story, but I'm just gonna move on. My brain is jumbled today. I don't usually smoke sativa. It's weird. It's very like not tiring while you're in it. Definitely, I think both strains of weed, indica and sativa, tire you out after they're done. Maybe an hour after. But my leg hurts. My hip, I should say. Sativa makes you more energized for sure. Can also make you more paranoid, which is why I keep away from it. But when I'm doing active stuff like hiking, I can put the energy into something instead of just like slumping around on indica, which makes you just chill AF. Anyway, I played in Skyrim the I forgot what it was called. The Adventure Last Night or something like that. It's nothing like that. It's nothing like that. Go back. It's it was the quest where you meet Sanguine or Sanguine, however you pronounce his name, and you get the Sanguine or Sanguine rose. I call it Sanguine. Sanguine sounds like a fucking I don't even know. Sounds dumb. But I don't know if there's a certain language that it's derived from that says it like that. I really don't think there is. It might even be made up, who knows. Oh, I know where I am, maybe. No, I don't. Alright, I'm gonna look at my phone real quick. Yeah, taking a break, I gotta know where I am. What? Oh, okay. I was like in the middle of this other town in my state. For some reason. Okay, according to this, I'm not where I need to be. Okay, I'm just gonna go this way. I have to cross 2 fucking rivers. This is kind of... This is better than the other one, but it's still a wide fucking river from all the snow melting. Should I even try it? I don't want to get wet. It looks doable. Famous last words. I think from lower down it looks a lot better. Alright, hang on. How fucking yes. Ugh. I did it. Without getting wet. Look at me. That should earn me some achievement, like a video game achievement. So yeah, let's see how far we are into this high. 40 minutes. That was it felt a lot, what's the word? Longer or shorter? I don't even, it felt way longer than that. Only 24-minute episode. Damn, these used to be long. These like a commitment. I think usually around this point is where I tap out. But I just go, well, I don't really tap out. The thing is, I do the opposite of tapping out. I keep going. And then the high just ends, but I'm just like more sober and it gets more serious, maybe. Maybe not. Maybe I'm making that up. I don't think I should question the structure of the podcast. I think changing it at this point would be way too weird. More guests would be cool. I think that should be like the more of a focus. Even though there's only so many guests in the world I can just get easy contact to. But you never know. I almost got not almost. I might be getting this big musician and this other big musician friend in the Grateful Dead community. I don't know so much about the guy I'm in contact with, but definitely his friend is a huge. He's played with pretty big cover bands with original members, like not original members of the Dead, but like the Jerry Garcia band. That's all I'll say. And it's not what's his name? The other guy. You know what? No, I'll leave it ambiguous. There is a dude, if you go back to my PatricksGreenTea text episodes, there's a dude I want to do a documentary on, but it's not him. I mean, I did want to do a documentary on this dude that I wanted to do the podcast with, but I think there's too many personal conflicts there, just based on like who our mutual friends. It's too long of a story to get into, but the gist is someone and I are not really on good terms right now, and I can't even apologize for it because like I don't think I'm in the wrong, and that I think it would have been worse to do another thing, but this isn't really the short of it. This is sort of like the medium of it. Anyway, this person is really close with A lot of people actually in the Grateful Dead community. So I try to have to. I feel like eventually I'm gonna have to run into her at some point, and I really want to be able to reconcile our differences, because I think they're like. But I guess what I was trying to say is that I can't do anything about it to change the situation. I'm waiting on if there will ever be a less hostile view of me from that side. Maybe I've made this so vague that it like people are like, wait, what did you do? What the fuck? No, it's one of those. You'd get it if I told you, and you'd be like, oh, okay. Trust me on that one. Really peaceful outside. I wish I was able to walk more, but I was so paranoid about legal stuff. But I'm in the clear. So, you know what? Even though I haven't recorded a lot at the end of 2020, that shouldn't be like, that's not reflective of how it's going to be later. You know, I can easily, now that I'm freer, I can just take walks more often if it's not too cold. And then if it is too cold, I just go somewhere that's warm. Or stay in my car or whatever. Maybe not the whole time. Early spring, I saw a what's it called? I can't even think of the name. I saw a movie in a drive-in theater, and I watched this movie, and it was cold. Was it cold? It may not have been cold. You know what? It's been a while since I've experienced like a real cold winter. As soon as I had an abbreviated winter this year because I went to Spain where it was like 50 degrees minimum every day. It was really nice. My boots are crunching really loudly. The paths here are not really suitable for podcasting. But you know what is suitable for podcasting? Marijuana. I've been listening to some songs, newer songs than I'm used to. Sometimes, like, I don't know if I mentioned here, I get in ruts where I just listen to the same stuff, or the same like group of stuff. Oh, I've been listening to a lot more other jam bands like that aren't Fish and aren't the Dead. Like, I really like the String Cheese Incident, and for like an all-around band, like they're jamming and their lyrics and vocals and everything. But I like Disco Biscuits solely for the jams. They have a really cool like genre they've carved out just with their sound, and it's like techno but like with more less electronic, you know. I shouldn't say that. Less produced. More like there's actual musicians behind everything at the same time, which makes a cooler effect in my opinion than techno. Techno is like looking at a grid, you know, or a spreadsheet. It's like I can appreciate it, but it's not really grooving anything with anything. I'm a groove man. I play the saxophone. I have to be. So the specific songs I've been listening to, other than them. Actually, no. Before I close on that topic, String Cheese Incident, "Betray the Dark" is a really good song. That was the first song that I really like. It was stuck in my head a few days after I rewatched the Peach Festival set of theirs, because I wanted to see what they sounded like, and it was like one of the first songs they played. And it was stuck in my head. I was like, wait, what was that song? It's like just these few words, just how catchy they are. They kept appearing in my mind. So I looked back. I found it eventually. "Betray the Dark." It's in A minor, and it's really fun to play on saxophone and all this other stuff. All around a good time. I've listened. So yeah, I've also listened to Valerie, the '68 version, I think it's called. Like 1968, I guess. And she did a song. She did do a song. But the version that I always listen to is like what was released mainly, but there's this other version. I think she also recorded it like the year of her death, or it was recorded like as a side album and then released after her death. I don't know. It was definitely released in 2011. I can tell you that, and it was really good. The rhythm is so different, and just the way the guitar harmonies come in are just really, I don't know, really unique. It sounds like literal like 60s jazz, late 60s jazz, but more modern in tone a bit, and like the recording quality, which is definitely a thing that's baked into that era. But you can forgive it for the song. It's really good. Also really fun to play the saxophone because it's only, you can do the same scale and it fits well with both keys it goes into, and it's just an all-around good time. The vocals are great too. It's right in my range, so I'm probably going to be performing it in the future. I miss performing. I shouldn't say that. I miss having places to perform, you know, that isn't like my house or my girlfriend's house. It would be nice to just have like everyone be focused on the music, there for the music and the moment. It's such a nice feeling. It's a nice relationship that you have as a performer to the audience, because it's just like you're doing something for them. It's cool. And if it's good, then they're proud of you and they're like really happy about it, which is also good all around. I think that is the extent of what I was going to cover today. I only say this because I think I'm going to listen to more music. I think this was a good podcast episode. I'll stop walking for a second. Thank you guys again for being here. I don't I was going to say, I don't think I even said the date or the intro, but you can see it in the title of this. And there also is there really is no intro for this. So I was trying to mix it up. I'm not going to mix up the outro because it's a nice way to close it and then change my brain's mode. Anyway, Jeff Chimenti is cool. I'm sorry I forgot his name. I'm sorry to him, and I'm sorry to me. I'm not sorry to you. Yeah. It sounds like a good early 90s comedy movie line. Like, alright, whatever. Goodbye, ladies and gents.
Hello. Thanks for listening to the podcast. You can find me at PatricksGreenTea on Patreon, Discord, Spotify, YouTube, Twitch, and Bandcamp, PatricksGreenTea Podcast on Instagram, and PatrickGreenTea without an S on Twitter. The show is available wherever you get your podcasts. Supplemental materials like photos and text are available on our website, PatricksGreenTea.com. You can join our subreddit at r/PatricksGreenTea. You can make comments on YouTube and on the website, and you can contact me directly at PatricksGreenTea@gmail.com. Don't forget to leave a review of the show on your favorite podcasting platform. It really helps us out. Thank you so much and have a lovely day.